Peace. This is Start with the Star Blooms. So I wanted to continue the conversation that I had started earlier. I was speaking about the meetings that occur that I initiate in my inner child healing sessions, right? And I was speaking about a piece of, they said, a very, very significant puzzle that a lot of us meet and reach within ourselves. Uh, and they wanted me to basically go into detail about how I've come to discover certain layers of understanding and perceive at a rate in a perspective that actually suits and benefits me at a higher frequency, which is needed to be able to channel and to actually continue to function at high vibrations while being engagement with things that haven't significantly regulated within themselves. Okay, so it's like a lot of the times we be wanting to be taken out of the mission, but sometimes what we're wanting to get away from is actually within the realm and the space that we should be able to transmute and alchemize in. So the conversation originally had started, you guys, with just the energy of Capricorn, the daughter. I basically looking at it as my sister. The reason why I want to give like a precursor so I could be really quickly with this. So the father would basically represent Saturn. Saturn is going to be, thank you, Spirit. Mm, excuse me, y'all. You got to be obedient. Okay. Saturn represents the father. Um, and it's not necessarily Saturn. It's like, I believe it's Libra. Um, the seventh house, which is the representation of the third quarter. The second quarter would be the fourth house, which is the Divine Mother, Kali Ma, Big Mama. It's going to be represented by Cancer. The first quadrant is going to be Aries, which is the sun of power. It's the sun's bro energy. And the daughter represents the fourth quadrant, the fourth quarter. She is represented by Capricorn energy. Okay, so when I speak about it at this rate, this is the rate that I learned it at. I'm giving it to y'all with these bases. All right. So every planet, every zodiac has a ruling planet. All right. Capricorns just so happens to be Saturn. Originally, um, some of us have been at a rate within Capricorn's energy, which is daughter Earth. Um, but it's been a space of cultivating with Big Mama, an alerting of, acknowledgement of. She's been speaking to her daughters, and how I perceive things now, and it could be dark, you guys, and it's like I'm so hesitant about sharing it because it may be too far-fetched for some people to perceive, but that's probably why it needs to be shared, because it's just a different way of looking at it. How I look at it, you guys, is that maybe my parents did fall short, my physical parents. Maybe they gave me the rate that they were meant to give me, and I feel like, for whatever reason, that there was a space that could have, used improvement, so on and so forth, right? And even in that space, I also understand and recognize that there is a job and there was a mission that they had to, achieve, right? They had to actually be at whatever so called deficient rate that they met me at, right? However, I believe that when you're on your soul's journey, when you're actually doing your soul's mission and you're ascending to your higher self, um, my butt, y'all, was burning from the seat warmers. And I turned off the car beforehand because I didn't want my butt to be this hot. And I'm in here now getting, I'm freezing cold. This is how I started. I actually started doing my readings like this, y'all, out like in front of the extended, this nostalgia. In front of the extended stay where I used to girl. So I was about to say, like, I'm about to sit here and tell y'all, girl, you just won't believe it. Now, anyways, so uh stay focused. Um when it comes to having a certain layer of communication, however, I recognize that in my desire, in my mission to heal, in my desire to be healed, I receive my divine parents. I just receive my soul family, and I acknowledge Big Mama and Father Spirit as my parents. Okay, 100%. They show up for me whenever I ask for anything. They have these my parents. Okay, now the thing is that you big mama baby, you big mama baby. And how she is with you is how she is with you. If you at that rate, then you understand how you are with big mama, right? When it comes to having a conversation, she firm, she's stern, but it's like you hers. Okay? And it's a different layer of speech. It's a different texture of communication, all right? Same thing goes with Father Spirit. I call him Father Standard, okay? Saturn energy, the reason why I feel like Capricorn had to be at home in Saturn is because of character, you know? However, I've been challenged lately with the realization that character is like a role. It's an act. It's something that you put on. When you're in truth and you're in total like revelation and revealment of self, and you're actually, in receipt of who it is that you are, you recognize that even within your character you've shown up flawed because you've been putting on an act, wanting to basically fit a role. However, when you're just being, and a lot of the times the things that we even feel that we've shown up flawed in were specifically meant even for the moment that they may, enact something that may be unfavorable to somebody else. Point in an example. When you're dealing with Saturn, it's a structured energy that puts you to task, that challenges you in order for you to basically receive your reward in it. So if Father Saturn comes in, Father Standard comes in, and he's rewarding you, you work for this. Not only did you work for this, like this was always destined to be yours, but because you showed up and you did far exceedingly beyond what we expected, and you actually handled yourself accordingly, you honored yourself at a rate to where you showed up in representation of who and whom, okay, it is that you're representing, right? You actually receive a reward that is beyond just, all right? However, when you're dealing with standards, you have to also recognize the delusion and the irrefutable, okay, space that you were showing up in previously. You may have not understood and knew, your integrity to be what it was. So you may have casted things that should have consciously been embedded in you, right? As your character, your role, your morals, your values, as who it is that you are as a person. You may have casually casted them off as just these ideas and these desires that you have that are dreamy. Like people aren't really, no, when you're dealing with Capricorn, daughter Earth, and when you're dealing with Saturn's energy and you're in representation of that fourth quarter, Spirit is basically brought me to a layer of understanding that it's like it's my empire at this point. It's a collective present at this point. It's almost like Son of Power showed up. Hey, I'm here, ready to acknowledge daughter Earth, my I'm representing the acknowledgement, Son of Power. I'm gonna acknowledge Father Spirit, and then it's like it's all coming together at a cosmic rate. However, how you are in it is what you're cool and what you're comfortable at being. I hope that this makes more sense. I feel like it kind of stretches it out even more. Comment. We'll keep